Hey YouTube friends, I needed a break last weekend, so I took a little mini vacation with my wife in Murphy, North Carolina, and then we drove down to Middle Georgia to help my mother-in-law build a new flower bed in her yard. And I'm so happy with how this project turned out. And we did exactly the way we like to do things on this channel. Use what you have, do it yourself if you can, have fun, and grow and be fruitful. So today I'm going to show you how we built this raised bed for my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law bought this country home a few years ago, and they've been slowly making improvements themselves. But some projects are a little bit bigger than they can do by themselves. Mary, my mother-in-law, wanted a nice big flower bed in her front yard to add some color to their front yard. So my wife and I used some of our time off to help her with it. We chose a nice location along the wooden fence in the front yard. This is an ideal location because it gets lots of sun and also faces the front porch. So it gives you a pretty view as you sit on the front porch, and it also is one of the first things that you see when you come into the yard in the front and you come up to the house. So this was a place that we wanted to build the flower bed, and she thought it was a great location as well. Now there was a big old pile of old railroad ties stacked up in the woods, and man, these things are heavy, probably 100, 150 pounds each. So my brother-in-law Wesley helped me get them out of the woods, and then my father-in-law Terry used his tractor to carry them 50 yards over to where we were building the flower bed. Sure did help to have that tractor. We could have carried them by hand, but man, it really would have been a lot of work. And the tractor just made it a lot easier. So we decided to make the bed very large. The railroad ties are 8 feet long, so we placed 2 end to end on the flower bed, making it 16 feet long. We used a chainsaw to cut 2 ties in half so that the bed will be 4 feet wide. So we'll get 16 feet by 4 feet wide, and we decided to stack them 2 ties up 2 levels to make the flower bed 12 inches deep. We staggered the ties and then drove some spikes down in through them to help keep them more stable. They're pretty heavy and I don't think they're going anywhere, but the spikes were just a little added security. Now, doing a little math, I found out that the bed needed 2 cubic yards of good soil. Now back home in Cohutta, I can get that much soil for about $50, and it's really good, rich soil. But down here where my in-laws live, it was going to cost $160 because it's $80 per cubic yard. Luckily, Wesley noticed a pile of wood chips in the front yard where they had cut down a few trees several years ago. And they had spread that out in kind of a pile where they were parking their cars, and that wood chips had broken down into this most beautiful compost. It'll be perfect for that flower bed. So again, Terry, my father-in-law, used his tractor with the front end loader to scrape up enough soil to fill the entire bed. Bam! Use what you have. Then we filled the flower bed with several potted flowers that Mary already had that had outgrown their pots. Now, I'm not sure what these are. She said that they have already bloomed and they had pretty flowers on them. I think they were yellow flowers. If you know what they are, leave us a comment and let us know. I'd sure like to know what they are. So we built this entire bed 16 feet by 4 feet by 12 inches deep. And we did it in 5 hours using materials that we scavenged off the property, and it cost $0. And I think it looks pretty great, don't you? And that's gonna last forever. Plus, I really enjoyed seeing Terry use his tractor and everyone working together. So these are some big old massive railroad ties that we were using. My goodness, these things were heavy, and there's no telling how long these things were stacked up back here, because as you can see, a number of them have rotted through and completely fallen apart. And these things are meant to last, my friends. They don't just rot and fall apart. So the fact that they've been back here and they were stacked not on the ground, they're up off of the ground, and yet they had rotted through. So these things have been back here a long time, but there were still enough for us to salvage, to use for this bed. We needed 10 railroad ties, and we were able to find 10, and there's actually still a few more left that could be used for other projects. But man, are they heavy. And I don't know if you can see, but this little entranceway into these woods is kind of narrow, and so we could carry them with the tractor, but we couldn't get the tractor in here and really back them out. So what we did, my brother-in-law Wesley and I, we would just carry them out, it's like 10, maybe 10 yards out of the woods, and then my father-in-law could get them with the tractor. Ephesians chapter 6 verses 1 through 4. Children, obey your parents, because you belong to the Lord, for this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on the earth. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. 1 Timothy 5 verses 1 through 4 and verse 8. Never speak harshly to an older man, but appeal to him respectfully as you would for your own father. Talk to younger men as you would your own brothers. Treat older women as you would treat your mother, and treat younger women with all purity as you would your own sisters. Take care of any widow who has no one else to care for her. But if she has children or grandchildren, their first responsibility is to show godliness at home and repay their parents by taking care of them. This is something that pleases God. But those who won't care for their relatives, especially those in their own household, have denied the true faith. Such people are worse than unbelievers. Thanks for watching, my friends. Remember to spread some love, take care of one another, especially your own family. And now let's get out there and let's grow and be fruitful.